Hey Mung Beans. I'm Joey.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Wine Time Mysteries.
If you're into true crime,
And if the paranormal gets your nips hard,
then this is for you. But before we get started,
make sure to follow us on Spotify and stalk us on Insta and TikTok.
or send your inquiries to winetimemysteries@gmail.com, and we promise to at least try to get back to you.
Lego!
Let's go.
Should we just fucking get right into it today? Because I just got nothing else to say. Actually, I do have something to say.
Oh.
You should show us around. Tell your friends, because we're starting to get a following, and this is my song about mung beans. You can tell I'm the singer of us too. You're
I
welcome.
love that song.
You're welcome.
Um,
That's called the Mung Bean song. Copyright TM Ashley Rose. Would you like to know who I'm talking about today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want to know?
Sure.
It's going to make me real mad.
Who is he? I guess it's a man.
Yeah. John Ernest, I'm a big fuckhead Cribb.
John Ernest. I'm a big fuckhead.
I was so mad researching this guy, and I didn't know what I want to call him, and I just went bogan as fuck, and I'm sorry, I know, my swearing has been really good. I try to be all nice and
What
love
I'm
and
hearing
light.
is not in this episode.
Not in this episode. This one really pissed me off. Obviously, all the killers piss me off. Like, just don't kill people. Don't do it. But yeah, just wait and see how you feel. Yeah.
I'm guessing this guy has a special place in hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just a fuckhead. Like, it's just I'm a big fuckhead.
I'm excited because I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, you don't. And I was going to say, is that how I'm starting this, you may ask? Of just me going, John fuckhead, I'm a big fuckhead? So many fucks. So John Ernest Cribb was born 5th of August 1950. Do you know what star sign he is?
What star sign?
He's a Leo.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's all I'm really going to go into with him. That's just the end of my story right there.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, and we're done. Thank you, bye.
See ya.
Really didn't want to go into much detail about him because I just couldn't be bothered. And he's a big fuckhead, so whatevs. So I'm just going to jump to August 1978 because we'll soon find out there is a lot around in this scumbag. So we've got to go a bit further ahead. See how I'm trying to cope with my anger already and I'm not even into it? Yeah, I'm going to get very angry.
We have his name, his date of birth, and his star sign.
So as I said, August 1978, old fuckhead Cribb was on parole. He was 28 at the time. He had just served 6 years of a 9-year sentence for armed robbery. I did find that apparently he had been in and out of jail 7 times, and it was for robberies and also taking people hostage. Because, why not? When in Rome.
What is wrong with the legal system in Australia?
Yeah, I don't know. Why is he out on parole? For armed robbery and taking people hostage. And he's been in and out of jail 7 times already. Why the fuck you on parole? Now, I don't really know much about that charge, as in what happened, but must have been big for 6 years, right? I thought that, but I had a little look. Apparently, you can get a max of 25 years for armed robbery, so maybe it wasn't that much. But it must have been something to get.
Well, if he has a history of being arrested, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge gave him a slightly heavy...
for something that may have been...
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of his conditions with parole was that he would stay at his parents' house at, this is one of the words that I should know because I'm Australian, Killabaka Creek.
Where?
It's in New South Wales. It's about 339 kilometres northeast of Sydney. You're welcome. I'll spell it out for you. K-I-L-L-R. That's an A. Because I fucking said
K-I-L-L-R.
Fucking idiot I am. B-A-K-H. Killabaka. How would you pronounce it?
Sounds about right to me.
I don't know, okay?
Sorry, one more time. K-I-L-L-A.
So literally killer. K-I-L-L-A. B-A-K-H. Creek.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just call that Killerback Creek.
Killerback.
Killerback.
But also, yeah, I was so angry with this, I just could not be bothered finding out how to say things properly. Sorry about it. Do you think he went there?
To the creek.
No. I lost you with the Killabaka.
He did. I'm
So-
still in Killabuk.
Yeah. So his condition for the parole was that he had to stay at his parents' house. Sorry, just in case
Fair
you fell
dues.
down the trap of me going Killabaka.
Fair dues. Nah, I do not think he spent that much time with his parents.
No. I mean, I wish he did, because then maybe this wouldn't have happened, but I also think maybe it would have, because, yeah. Anyway, he actually ended up going to live with his sister in Balcombe Hills, which is actually 3.5 hours from where he was meant to be.
Aren't you supposed to have any, like a parole officer you check in with?
Who knows? Yeah, just wait. This whole case will just make you really angry. August 11th, Johnny Boy decides to do what? What does he decide to do? Go on the hunt for some puss. No. He does at one point, but go on the hunt for some places to break into. Because, he's on parole. Why the fuck not? Now, he also decided to go to the pub to have a beer. Why not? And he also decided to grab a knife, which he put in his pants. Because that's where you put knives. So
He put in his pants.
in his pants. This is how I cope with anger. No, I don't. I cry.
Is that a stake in your boot? No, that's a knife in my pants.
Is that a knife in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? That's not funny, but I do like that. I'm like, as we go, it's not funny, but So he leaves the pub, tried to break into 3 houses before he ended up at Valda Connell's house. Now, I do want to mention this house was like a semi-rural property, so the neighbours weren't close. So it sounded like, from what I saw, that, whether people are around at the 3 other places, dogs barking, that kind of thing, so he's ended up here. He goes in the backyard, gains entry into the house by cutting the fly screen. Remember how easy it was back in the day? Like those really shoddy... Like, I used to break into my house so many times as a kid. You could easily remove the fly screen and open windows and...
Oh, see, I didn't grow up in Australia. We didn't have...
No, because we don't have flies in New Zealand, because our ants don't bite you and nothing kills you in New Zealand.
No, it's because it's so fucking cold. Everything's always closed.
No.
We don't keep doors open, you
Okay,
fool.
that makes sense. Well, back in the day, it was really... Any of you little Aussie peeps out there will know how bad they were back then. So he's broken in. He starts grabbing items, filling bags, whatever he can find. Now, in the house, he also... Now, in the house, he finds a 12-gauge shotgun. He started then bringing some bags to the front of the house, kind of getting ready to go, when a car pulls up. It's Valda Connell, 39, along with 2 of her children, Sally, 10, and Damien, 4. The Connells were described as a supportive and nurturing family. They were religious and tight-knit, so they would go to mass every Sunday, say the rosary each night. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not, I just wanted to put it in there because it made them, it just sounded like they were so wholesome. Now, Valda was actually a mother of 6, being 4 girls and 2 boys, and she had a husband named Paul. They were also described, as I said before, as just innocent. The property was semi-rural. They had animals, horses, cows. Just seemed like such a happy, nice family. And I was kind of thinking, why the shotgun? But then that would make sense if they're on a farm. Now, this Friday, Valda had just finished playing tennis with some friends, and she obviously had her youngest with her, being 4-year-old Damien, and they went to go pick up Sally, who was 10, from school. It was mentioned the other kids were older and could make their own way home. As I had said earlier, a car had pulled up while John was still going through the house. So he comes out with the shotgun, just runs out to the car, screaming, "I'm taking the car, stay where you are." Now, this piece of shit goes around and grabs all the items that he'd just bought to the front of the house, shoves them into the car, and takes off. Obviously abducting them because he doesn't want to get caught. But I feel like this will just be worse for you, bud, Don't do that. Barawa? Barawa? Barawa?
With?
Barawa? Berowra. If she doesn't say Barawa,
Berowra.
no, I'm not. I'm gonna fucking butcher it. Get this. He heads towards Barawa? 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 I can't say it. Can you just fucking help me?
Berowra.
Barawa? So he goes to B Waters, is what I'm calling it now.
Fuck. After all of that.
Barawa?
Be water, bro.
Be waters. So he heads here. Guess who lives there?
Have we spoke about them yet?
No.
Oh, then I don't know.
I don't fucking know. His fucking girlfriend. So, I actually couldn't find a lot on her, and I didn't dive in because, hey, I wouldn't want to be associated with him either. So I wonder if she kind of removed herself from the situation or if she was a bit cray-cray too. Who knows? He takes them to a secluded, I nearly said scheduled. He takes them to a secluded place, grabs some clothing and rips it into strips. He then tells Sally, little girl, to stay in the car while he takes Valda and Damien out into the woods. He binds and gags them with the material. He then head backs to the car where Sally is, and he drives to a servo. For you other listeners out there, this is also known as a service station. Now, can I just remind you all, poor Valda and Damien are tied up in the woods. I can't even imagine what is going through her head. Like, they've been kidnapped, now he's taken off with your child. So at the servo, he forces Sally to give him her phone number, home, of course, because, you know, there was a time before mobile phones. Wild, I know. Calls the number and introduces himself to Paul, Valda's husband, as Warren. He tells Paul he is having an affair with Valda and they have run off with Sally and Damien. I think he kind of hoped this would all fall into place and Paul would just go, oh, okay, story checks out, never question it. No. So obviously this is extremely out of character for her. She's a mum of 6, so much responsibility right there.
And religious.
Yeah, I was just about to say being described as a loving, tight-knit family and religious. Like, I know it can happen no matter your religion or what you're like, but Valda running off with a man just didn't sound legit. Paul, of course, notified police, which I'm glad he did. Police came in to investigate, given Paul is already probably thinking his wife and kids are in trouble. The police find fingerprints at the house, because obviously he stole things, but back in those days, it would take about 2 weeks for them to process. Not like today. I mean, not like I'd know.
When was the last time you did it?
Stole or sex? Did what? Fingerprints?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, finger bang bang, gonna finger bang. What? Now, these officers went all out, can I say? Which was very nice. They knew what kind of car she drove, so they literally drove around everywhere looking out for this car. So I'll jump back to John. So this idiot went to a petrol station, as we said before, then collected Valda and Damien and is now headed to Mangrove Mountain, which was like another hour away, where he runs out of fuel. I mean, you're already just at a service station, why can't you fill up the car? He forces Valda out of the car to push the car off the road. He made her push the car off the road, like help him. Such a dick. Now, by the sounds of it, it was already kind of like a quiet area, no people passing by, so it just kind of pushed it off a bit more into bushland, I assume. Now, trigger warning, this does involve rape, so skip this part. It's not going to go for too long, but he then grabs Valda, takes her into the bushes in full view of the kids and rapes her. The whole time she's just pleading for the safety of her children and apparently even tried to talk about religion to him. So I don't know whether it was like God will forgive you or just let us go.
That's exactly where I went.
Yeah, something like that, because I don't see her being like, come join our religion. You know what I mean? It's not... Yeah.
That's a really bad time to outreach.
Yeah, I don't think they're outreaching. After this is all done, it was said he just left him there in the car to get petrol. So he's raped her, brought her back to the car, just left the kids and her in the car and has walked off.
And she just stayed there?
Well, this is where I was a bit like, Remember, they are bound. So I don't know if it's just shock or I don't know. Like, she's just been raped. You're out in the middle of nowhere. I guess no lights, nothing, your kids. Yeah, I don't know. We can't say what, why didn't you just run? But yeah.
For sure, I'm not her. I wasn't just raped.
Yeah.
I can't help but think to myself what I would do in that kind of situation. And for my children,
yeah,
I would risk dying.
That's where I went as well. So I also don't know, was the car locked? Were they completely bound that they literally couldn't move?
And what year was this again?
What year? It was 1978. He eventually comes back with fuel and then heads on their way. Early Saturday morning, he pulled up at Ellenborough Falls, which is now 4 hours away from where he kidnapped them in Balcombe Hills. Now, Ellenborough Falls, I hope I said that correctly, was known to him as well. The area, because literally the week before, this piece of crap visited the exact same spot with his family. It is said he would also taunt them about stopping and letting him out, and then just not. Like, he'd be like, oh yeah, I'll pull up here, you can get out, blah blah blah, and then he just wouldn't. He did end up stopping eventually and left Valda, Sally and Damien in the bushes tied up. See, he was ready to just go and let them die in the woods, I guess. He then started driving towards Newcastle, where he freaked out and then thought, well, really, he should probably head back and clean up. He was too worried, obviously, about, them finding out that he's done all these bad things. Remember, they're in the bushes, terrified. I don't know if they've gotten up and tried to figure out where they are, or, I guess, he's got a gun. He could just be hiding in the bushes waiting for you to try and run. You don't. Yeah. So these poor things saw headlights pull up, thinking maybe this is someone here to help us, but it wasn't. John walks towards Valda, who is facing him, still bound and gagged, and he stabbed her in the chest around 13 times. She also had defense wounds on her body, so she had tried to put up a fight. He then went to Damien and stabbed him twice before he passed away. Then poor little Sally saw both of them die, and then she was stabbed 6 times. He actually ended up cutting himself in the attack and didn't realise. Boo-hoo. He then just sits there and has a smoke. Just sits down and has a smoke after he's just killed everyone.
What is up with the Aussies?
He's gone for a beer, just killed some people, had a smoke.
Just gonna have a dart.
Just gonna have a durry.
God damn.
So he's sitting there, decides what he wants to do, with the decision now being to go to his parents' house. So I don't know whether he did it there or if it was kind of along the way. It was a bit of a grey area, but he's washed up somewhere along the way and ended up changing clothes. He also grabbed a shovel and heads up to where the bodies are, and apparently the ground was too hard and he couldn't dig, like the little fucking bitch he is. So he put the bodies in the boot of his car with the intentions of burying them in or around the beach area. So now on the way to Newcastle, bodies still in the boot, he arrives at Caves Beach around midday. He thinks he's alone and begins to dig what police would describe as a perfect grave. Now in my head I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'm sure it's a perfect grave, blah blah blah. They show the picture and I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty fucking perfect grave. So yeah, anyway, he's done the grave. Now 2 12-year-olds who were just out riding their bikes happened to stumble upon him and his perfect grave. So of course they asked him what the fuck he was doing. And he's like, oh yeah, I have 3 dead Alsatians in the car. So he said he was going to bury them. And I think the kids were like, yeah, nah, and they left. Thank goodness. Now, this actually made Cribb pack up his shovel, leaving this perfect grave, and goes 1 kilometre up the beach. And of course, bogs himself in the sand, because he's a fucking idiot. He tried to get it out, but couldn't. Now, this ain't no 4-wheel drive. Like, this car is an old Holden sedan. Why are you driving on the beach? Anyway, he hitches a ride to the servo and came back with a towie, or a tow truck driver, or I don't know what else people call them, to get the car out of the sand. The driver noticed he had a cut finger and he had a wound on his leg, and the towie was like, mate, go to the hospital. So he went to Belmont Hospital and got 2 stitches. Wow. And then, you won't believe this, but then he heads to a pub where he got drunk and tried to pick up some girls. All the while, bodies in the boot of his car. Thank the Lord no one passed out or drunk enough, because once you see what this motherfucker looks like, So he left and would later drive off or lose control of his car and go down an embankment. I kind of saw conflicting reports that he meant to do it, and then others like, oh, he's drunk, and went down the ditch. The following morning, 2 tow truck operators and plainclothes detective and an offsider got called to head to the crash, let's say, because it's, abandoned car. It was just meant to be a get the car out, but unfortunately when they were retrieving the car, the boot popped open to reveal the bodies of Velda, Damien, and Sally. The detective said that this case was the most horrific sight he had ever seen in his 30-year career, and he made sure to mention he worked in homicide as well, so that's saying something. Now, unfortunately, at about 20 to 9, the family, Velda's family, was about to go to church when they saw the cops coming down the driveway. 3 cars, to be exact. The family straight away knew something bad had happened. Yeah, the family knew straight away. They were told that morning, and the news hit the poor father so bad that he had to go under sedation. That hurt my heart. Now, I just wanted to put this in here because one of her kids kind of like described her and stuff, and I was like, it's really sweet, and you need to look at photos of her later. She's just beautiful. Yeah, she was described as feminine, soft, and always had her hair and lippy done. Super cute. Sally was always smiling. So freaking cute as well. Just on her way to be a little lady. Like, she was so cute. And Damien, oh my gosh, my heart. Officers spoke to the towee. Found so weird. Towee? Tow truck driver. I'm not towee. Andrew, I'm coming home soon.
Let's do it.
So yeah, they spoke to the tow truck driver and found out that he'd actually already gotten the owner of this car out of a spot earlier and had seen that he had a cut on him and told him to go to the Belmont Hospital. So pretty funny, right? Same tow truck driver, which is awesome because he was able to give that info. Now, police were able to identify him straight away because they obviously went to the hospital. Oh yeah, we stitched up this guy called John I'm a fuckhead Cribbs. And he's obviously already in the database. So this news just went everywhere. Manhunt posters, media coverage, the whole shebang. Because they knew we got this motherfucker.
Side note, do you know that there's actually a gay dating website called Manhunt?
Is it really?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they went on Manhunt?
I went there, I was like,
Yeah. Oh, Manhunt?
Was that in like 2004? Because like...
What year is this? Which is actually funny leading on to this. He was located at Wickham. Wickham in Brisbane is gay bar?
Well, it's a gay-friendly bar.
Gay-friendly bar, yeah. I've been there once or twice before. I did like it. But no, not that Wickham. I just thought it was funny, given what we were just talking about. Which would then turn into a full-on siege. Siege? Siege. Sage.
Oh.
The police were called and he held an older lady at knife point because, you know, he's just been to jail just a few times for armed robbery and holding hostages, so why not? This would go on for 10 hours before police were able to get this motherfucker. He also tried to stab himself in the chest, maybe an attempt at suicide, I don't know. I don't reckon he did because he just is a piece of shit. John would later admit to officers that he only murdered the family because he was afraid they would go to the police. Like, no, sorry, but why did you rape Velda then, if you're worried? You had no idea what you were doing, but you did. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously didn't have it planned, but you did plan to do things. So, John was charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 rape around November 1978. Confession, witnesses, everything. Easy peasy, right?
Well, I'm guessing no.
It's just a slippery motherfucker, this guy. It's just going to make you really angry.
I thought you were going to say slippery nipple.
Slippery nip.
Slippery nip.
He's just a slippery nip.
Well...
Just slip off the old nip. No, they put him through a psych test and diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia and placed him in a ward for the criminally insane at Morisset Hospital. So he's at a hospital but in prison, so to say. So you're like, oh, cool. No. Now, 1 month later, from being in this place, police were informed that 4 people had escaped.
Including him.
2 had been recaptured, but 2 weren't. Who were these people, you may ask? One was convicted armed robber, William Munday, who was serving a 28-year sentence, and the other was...
Fucking fuckhead Cribb.
Yeah. 2 weeks these fuckers were on the run, robbing properties nearly every day, which would end up being around 30 plus offences in the newspaper. Every day. Oh, and they also decided, just a little side note, not so little side note, they kidnapped 2 17-year-old schoolgirls from outside the Hakoa Club.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, sounds right. Story checks out. Took them to a hotel and repeatedly sexually assaulted them over a 35-hour period. Oh, just wait, it gets worse. Cribb later sent the girls Christmas cards from prison. The piece of shit.
He actually only did that to fuck with them psychologically.
Yeah, but also, how was he allowed to send that out to the victims that he raped?
How did he get their address? Oh, phone books. What a novel thing. Little odd phone book.
Because he's probably like, oh, just want to send something to a family member or something. To the fucking victims. Piece of shit. May 79, pleads guilty. Defense talks about mental state. Was he in the right mind? Blah, blah, blah. Apparently, though, due to witness recollection, they dismissed... I could say recollection, but I couldn't say dismissed. They took his snitch.
Better a snitch than a snatch.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, you can't blame mental health issues all of the time. Like, yes, there are some cases where it's like, okay, they are actually psychotic, need help, blah, blah, blah. But this guy, he just sounds so calculating. And you cannot blame schizophrenia on robbing, raping. Plenty of people have it, and they don't do that.
No, I think from the things I've heard personally, people who have committed crimes that have schizophrenia, it's been like frenzied attacks or murders. It hasn't been anything to do with robbery. It hasn't been anything to do with rape. So I call bullshit.
And he also had or showed no remorse whatsoever. So they were just like, yeah, no. Both men were sentenced to an additional 30 years for the crime spree, while Cribb was sentenced later that year to a further 12 years for rape and 3 consecutive life terms for the murders. Are we done yet? Oh, no, honey, we're not done. While he was serving in Parramatta Jail, it was said he was in solitary because everyone hated him, including the screws or the guards, whatever you want to call them. And they just didn't think he would last in the normal section. Which I'm kind of like, cool, protect him so he can live out his life in jail being miserable. But then at the same time, I'm kind of like, kind of be better. The world would be better without this piece of shit. Now, while he is in here, he made friends with a nun over letters as she felt sorry for him. And he was also trying to say that he'd gone religious now. Now, did she give him love and light? Oh, no. So instead, she would end up writing pornographic letters to him. What? Yeah, a nun.
Have I told you the joke about the nun?
No.
How do you get a nun pregnant?
I don't know.
It's a bit of a riddle. Come on.
I want to say something to do with Jesus fucking Christ, but I can't think of anything else outside of that. I don't know.
You fuck her.
I'm so confused. Okay?
Really?
Fuck her.
How do you get a nun pregnant?
Yeah.
You fuck her.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Because she's a nun and you're not meant to.
No, she's just a person, and people get pregnant through sex. It's just meant to be really literal.
I was like, so what's the joke?
I think that actually hurt me a little bit.
I'm sorry.
It's like,
Just
why?
a blank stare, and I'm like, okay.
Why? Because she's a nun? No, because she's a woman that can get pregnant through sex. Far out.
So she would actually end up writing pornographic letters to him and said she wanted to perform oral sex on him. And I quote, "Until your eyes pop out." That's what she wrote in the letter. "I want to perform oral sex on you until your eyes pop out." All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hold on.
Yeah. I knew you'd get a bit, about this,
Well, because, like...
I wish you saw this unfolding. There's lots of hand movements and blinking and,
Because was it her idea of being, like, risque?
Well, I don't know.
Did she literally write the words,
Yeah.
"I want to perform oral sex on you until your eyes pop out"?
Yeah.
Because I would love to think of this little nun being like, "Oh, I'd like to suck that dick until your eyes pop out."
Yeah. Well, I mean, she could have, and they just said it was oral sex. I know, right? Now, apparently, she had scheduled a visit, and I heard conflicting reports around this, so I'm just going to put in the part that I think is funny anyway. The officers were told to be on standby with strict orders. I'm sorry, this is just... that if the nun's head disappeared from view in the cubicle, they were to act. They were literally told, if you see her head disappear... She's performing oral sex. Now just wait. So this was in an article, and I'm so sorry I had to say it, but it's just fucking hilarious. Bursting in during the final moments of the vinegar run. This was in an article. Someone wrote that in an article.
The vinegar run? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. He was also banned, obviously, after this from having visits. The vinegar run? I don't know.
A sour-tasting liquid containing acetic acid obtained by fermenting dilute alcoholic liquids.
So they're saying a disgusting taste in the mouth. She's just come in her mouth, is what they're saying. That is fucking disgusting.
I think that's what they're implying.
I think that is too. You're welcome. I think it's around 1992, Cribb marries a fellow inmate's sister as well.
How did the nun feel about that?
Who knows? Well, she was banned from visiting, so... Yeah, so I know he was not allowed visitors and stuff, so I think this was a little bit further down the track. I couldn't find the exact date of when old nunny lady gave him a good blowy, the old vinegar run. I don't know.
Nunny wunny with the sweet, sweet cunny.
Oh, ew. That's the dust. Back to this piece of shit, unfortunately. He also wrote a letter to the courts claiming he's reformed and wants to care for his sick wife. Oh, and that he's a Christian now, all bullshit. And also wrote another letter. This is the fucked part. I can't believe he had the audacity to do this. He ended up retracting it, I think, later. But he claimed that he was Sally's father and the murders had happened because Valda wouldn't admit that Sally was his.
The girl he killed.
Yeah. So he pretty much said the whole reason why he killed them was because a year earlier or whatever it was, she told him that she was pregnant, had Sally, and then she ended up denying, he's gone there to confront her and she's denied it and he's killed him.
Big fat effing lie, which they would have been able to disprove anyway through DNA testing, which I'm 100%. Sure they could have done at least at that time.
100%. Piece of fucking shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
He is a piece of wank.
Yeah, he's a fucking big old vinegar run. Just a full lot of him.
Fucking vinegar run?
Disgusting taste in your mouth. Oh, I've had a few vinegar runs here and there. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, that pissed me off. So it must be every time this piece of shit tries to appeal or do something, the family is contacted. Now, in 2008, he puts in a request for the whole non-parole period to have a trial, but he just didn't show up. So he put in this letter. The family said it was so frustrating. The poor son, the only son left, was like, we got all prepared for this, blah, blah, blah. And then he pulled the pin last minute as if to be like,
gotcha.
Fuck you. Like, he's taunting the family. He's doing this on purpose. Now, do you remember the whole every 3-year bullshit we spoke about in the Greenough massacres? Saying about all the times the poor family has to relive it every 3 years for the rest of their lives. Like, how the fuck is that? Giving the power to the murderers, like, why? But a little bit of good news to add, and we're nearly done, thank fuck. The good news being the Connells were actually successful in having new laws passed in 2008. So the same year he applied for the, the non-parole and then pulled the pin. So it was applied to both houses of New South Wales Parliament, which means killers will now have one chance to ask the court to give them a redetermine his sentence. They will no longer be able to drag the families of their victims back to court every 3 years, because apparently old mate had been trying since 1993. Another bit of good news, and this is really good news and I'm very happy. Cribb died in Goulburn, New South Wales, at the Goulburn Correctional Centre, a 75-bed supermax prison with the highest level of security in Australia.
How did he die? Natural?
Well, he died on 21st of February 2018 not long ago, at the age of 67. I didn't dive into this because I was just like, he's a piece of shit, I don't give a fuck. But apparently because he died while in custody, his death will be investigated by the New South Wales Police, as well as the New South Wales Coroner. But who fucking cares? That is my story. You're welcome.
It was comical.
Yeah.
In a disgusting kind of way.
Are you mad?
I don't like him very much, no.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And it just felt like he definitely took pleasure in other people's pain. Because why else would he do? Why would he lie about being the dad? Why would he send those girls fucking
You can't
cards?
say that's schizophrenia.
No, that you thought about that. But he's not even attractive.
I know, he's disgusting.
I can understand kind of your Ted Bundys.
Yeah.
Because even though Ted Bundy is not my type, during that
Yeah.
time I get it.
Like, especially if they're smooth talkers
Yeah.
and they look decent, blah, blah, blah.
And honestly,
He's a piece of shit.
my God, with like a lot of the people that I've looked at, and it pains me to say it, but I would have been killed so many times.
Sam. We literally spoke about that today. We saw a very attractive guy who, once again, had a little conversation with you, and you were like, yeah, but what if he's a murderer? Remember how we were talking about that
Well, he's
today?
a paramedic though, isn't he?
Yeah, but you've heard about our other old mate.
It's a thin line
Yeah.
between saving lives and taking them. On that note, mung
Love
beans,
your little mung beans. I was about to say mung beans, and then you said mung beans.
we're going to leave you with the vinegar runs. Yeah.
And nuns who give blowies that will pop your eyes out of your head.
I believe they call that a fun nun.
Oh, fun nun. All right. Love you. Bye.
Right. Bye.
Goodbye.